Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is Thursday, October 5th, 2017, all day today. What am I seeing here? Oh, yeah, Mr. Black, you mute Skype for us.
It is muted, isn't it?
Nope. You might have muted Skype itself, but not your microphone on Skype.
What about now?
There you go.
Cool.
I think that's got it.
Cool.
I'm still hearing him through Skype.
Really? I'm not seeing his bar pop up below him, though, on the screen.
I got the blue outline around him, and I'm hearing his background.
Really?
Unless it's picking up a different microphone, which is possible.
That's weird, because I'm not getting that on my end. So Skype is doing the old switcherino right now.
Don't worry about it. I'll live with it. All good.
It's just...
Okay. Yeah, because I'm muted everywhere. I'm literally completely muted.
I'll deal with it.
Oh, Panic, did you upgrade Skype?
I know. I used the installer I had from... I pulled the installer off the old machine to install it on this machine.
Oh no, is it the sleek black and white Skype, the new one, or is it the old one?
Well, whatever, I'll deal with it. We'll live.
Yeah, because the new one, even when you mute it on the new one, that they try and push it on you every time I open up Skype, and I'm like, no, go fuck yourself.
Get fucked.
Because you can't mute anything on the new one, because it's like somehow, some way. Somebody is getting paid to make Skype worse consecutively as the years go on.
They just don't want to support it anymore. They'll just be like, yeah, we'll give it up. I get enough people to say they hate it.
I wish they would just give it up then, and then I could just keep this one version of Skype for the rest of my life and just never have to use another version. Ladies and gentlemen, October 5th, it's a Thursday. We're here. It's another Technical Alpha podcast. Welcome. Glad you could make it if you're here live, and thank you for listening if you are catching us later. This week, almost nothing happened, in terms of things that are even worth talking about in the world of video games. So much so that we're just gonna bypass it altogether and, say that for this episode, we're going to do our top 10 movies, because we haven't done that yet. We started this whole podcast with our top 10 games, and subsequently never actually got back around to doing our top 10 movies. So, in lieu of having absolutely nothing to talk about as far as game stuff goes, we thought we might as well just do that. And so here we are, which Jeff was ecstatic about. At first Jeff was like, yeah, that's no big deal. Then he thought about it for like 2 seconds and went, wait a minute. That means we don't have to talk about games at all. We're just talking about movies. Yes. And so he's ready. I already have rum and coke in my hand, so I'm good to go. I'm running on. I don't even know how much sleep. I'm gonna say maybe 0. 0 might be the appropriate number because, as everyone would know, for the last month and almost month and a half now, we've had the demolition happening out in the back of our house. They've upgraded. On the demo team, they've upgraded their equipment. They've upgraded now to a jackhammer attached to a cat. So it's one of those 8-foot tall jackhammers that they've strapped onto a cat that are now breaking up all of the concrete that they ripped out of the ground with a backhoe. Which means that if you think you're sleeping short of being in a coma, it's not going to happen.
In your bones. Like you don't just hear it. You feel it in your body.
Feel it. It's only, I mean, it was stationed about, I'd say, 80 feet from the window, and, so even 3 stories up in the bedroom, everything's just shaking, loud as hell, sounds like a war is happening outside. I tried to sleep through it because I'd only gotten, I think, about an hour and a half or so before they started, and then, so I get up, and I was like, you know what? Fuck this shit. So I got up, and I walked down the hallway into the guest bedroom, and I ripped the mattress off of the bed in the guest bedroom, and I hauled it downstairs and said, Gabs, you can try and sleep on the couch downstairs. I'm sleeping on this mattress. So we just hauled all the shit into my office, and it's still sitting here. It's still here. It is still laying over there on the ground, and Gabs took all the sheets that were on the couch upstairs before the podcast, and then I attempted to sleep. The noise was less, but the vibration went up. So it was like, it was kind of half a dozen, 6 of one, half a dozen of another. So I didn't really sleep much more. So I'm hoping that they don't do that again tomorrow, or I might actually kill somebody.
Bro, you're feeding the wrong cam to the podcast on Twitch, by the way.
Oh, sorry. Oh, right. Yeah, I've got two webcams here. There you go. It's still over there. The bed is over. The mattress is down there. Gabs took the sheets that she had on the couch. Yeah, hot mess. I was cool with it up until the jackhammer, and now I'm just no.
Get fucked. Get fucked.
Now I'm not so happy about it. And I looked into it because I was like, man, I wonder what the start time is supposed to be. And it is, by law, it's 7 a.m. And apparently our local guy in Spryfield, Steve Adams, who's been like the dude there since Jeff and I were basically kids growing up, attempted multiple times to change the bylaw to 8 o'clock in the morning at the very least, because he was like, look, guys, I appreciate that you want to get some work done and have an extra little break in the day for an hour, but starting at 7 o'clock in the morning when people are still asleep before work is starting to piss people off. And unfortunately, it didn't go anywhere, and we're still stuck with the 7 a.m. start time. So, rip me. But how are you gentlemen doing? How are you doing, Mr. Black?
I'm good, man. I'm good. There's a lot of shit going on in my life right now. Some of it I can't really talk about, or at least I don't want to talk about on air. I'll obviously tell you, but there's a lot of exciting shit going on with me right now. So it's just I mean, it could all go to shit, and it could not be exciting, but there's some cool ventures, and there's just different things going on right now. I'm pretty.
You got free tickets to The Price is Right, didn't you?
I did.
I'd fucking lose it if I ever ended up on The Price is Right.
Got off the waiting list for that gender reassignment surgery, Jeff?
Yes. I finally get my vagina. It's going to be great.
Dude, just think of all the Twitch money you're going to make.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, my good lord.
Dirty money.
Before we... Oh, no, sorry, go ahead, Jeff.
I still have to figure out if I'm going to TwitchCon or not. I'm going to know that in like 2 days. So there.
Get me into that Discord party, bro.
Yeah, so I don't give a fuck about Discord party. Like
Dude,
zero
it's Maddie
fucks.
On this year.
Zero fucks. But yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna go or not, and if I don't, then it'll be you and me anyway for the podcast that week.
Just me and you.
Just me and you, baby.
Just the two of us.
The two of us.
Yeah, I turn myself down. I keep forgetting that at some point we actually got your guys on Discord the audio right, and I've left my audio turned way the hell up, and so I'm deafening people. Get used to it. I'm deaf too from all the friggin' demo in the back of my yard. Just join me in my sadness. Mr. Panic, how are you doing?
I think I'm alive. I'm not sure. This might all be like some hellish hallucination or something. Who knows?
I'm with you there.
Yeah, no, I got called into the I've been working from the main office for like the past week and a half. That like never happens. They sent me out to Jersey and they're like, yeah, well, you don't need to come in. I'm like, all right, cool. Shit hit the fan. They're like, yo, you need to be in the main office like all week. And I'm like sitting there looking like a hobo, and I'm like, well, shit. So
you gotta look real fancy for the uppers.
I actually had to go get like clothing clean because I'm like, I haven't worn my dress clothes were like in the closet. I haven't worn them in months. I've been like wearing jeans and like shirts and stuff. Got that cleaned up, took care of whatever was going on over here. And yeah, I've been pretty much doing the half hour to an hour extra longer commute.
I might actually shave too, man. I think I might go like I think I might shave, and then when November hits, then just grow it like a motherfucker. So I'm thinking about just maybe shaving it all tomorrow and then just waiting until November.
Because I shaved it all off, which let me like do all like the face wash and the cleaning and everything, which you can't do when you have the beard. So I'm just gonna keep it shaved for a little bit, and then like come November,
I'll
just let it grow back fresh.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about doing.
But that's the.
Did you guys hear I don't know how I'm looking at, I'm sorry guys, and I know audio is not really supposed to be the thing that I'm worried about, but we're coming in identically, and people are like, you're the only one that we can hear, which is different than they're a little quiet, but I don't know, I'll keep tabs on it, I guess.
I hear you guys completely
yeah, I
normal.
hear you guys fine.
Yeah, everything seems to be okay, so I don't know what's going on there. But did you guys hear, before we get into the top 10, just some rapid fire stuff? Some dude on Twitch forgot to turn his camera off, and was a little hammered, and may have gotten a little naked.
Oh my God, who did this?
I did not hear about this.
Where can I find this?
Lyndon, if you look up Lyndon or something.
Oh God.
I think it's something along those lines. He's
not
an
Lyndon
H1Z1.
FPS.
Yeah.
Oh my God, dude, are you serious?
Yeah, he got it.
Oh, he's banned.
Yeah, 3-day ban. Yeah, 3-day ban.
That's not bad.
No, because it's Lyndon. If it was anyone else, they'd be permaban. But you know, you get a certain size on Twitch. Yeah. So there, for those of you who aren't at work, there is a video. If you're feeling particularly special about yourself and you want to check it out. But he just apparently, from what I read anyway, he was drunk. Maybe he did a drunk stream or something. I don't know. And he forgot to turn his stuff off. And he obviously is one of those people that sleeps in the nude because like his bed was back there and he's just stripping and he's casually walking around. People were like, oh, he was fucking jerking it and shit. And he wasn't jerking it. Dude was just hammered going to bed. but he sits down and he realizes what's going on and you could just see his face go, oh no.
Hey, it's an honest mistake, dude. Like, you know,
it happens.
It'd be pretty, you know, I'm happy Twitch didn't ban him because, you know, it's a mistake. Like, it's just a mistake. I mean, who hasn't seen a penis before?
Yeah, but Twitch has banned like male nipples for God's sake. You get your dick out on Twitch and shit's gone sideways.
I suppose
this is bad news. But yeah, that happened, so that was kind of funny.
That is funny.
But so shout outs to Lyndon for keeping it real.
Oh yeah. One other thing happened to me. This week.
Okay, what happened?
You know that fucking desk I've been waiting for like 3 months?
Oh, right. Yes. Yeah.
They shipped that fucker came on a cargo ship across the entire ocean. And they FedEx crate delivered that shit to me, right? This thing was like 300 pounds plywood crate. I had to stay home from work to receive this thing. I unpack this entire thing, have the entire weekend set aside to pull out this desk that gives Jeff anxiety and put in a clean desk, get all this crap out from around me. All ready. Entire weekend set aside. Bust open the box. I got all the legs, all the shelves, all the hardware, but they forgot the goddamn fucking top of the desk. The giant ass piece of wood that you put everything onto. They just didn't ship that part.
Get fucked, bud.
I emailed them and they're like, but did the shipper screw up? Was it a seal crate? I'm like, oh yeah, no, the shipper had to like pry that thing open with a crowbar. They're like, oh, but that would mean we packed this in Europe. That would have to mean we messed this up in Europe. I'm like, yeah, think? And then after going back and forth all week, I'm like, yo, you guys need to bring it to me in not a crate so that I don't have to deal with breaking down a crate. Guess what? It's like, it'll be there tomorrow morning. We need you to stay home to receive the crate and break it down again. And I'm like, you motherfuckers.
Oh, I'd have been like,
That's
yo,
brutal.
Where's my discount at? Like, you know, give me a percentage back, boys, because you fucked
Oh,
up.
yeah, no, that's happening.
Yeah,
that's
I'd have been
happening.
salty. Yo, Adam, have you been to IKEA?
Not yet, no.
Oh, my God. That's all. That's
no.
Kayla and I went yesterday. I was like, you know what? Because yesterday was her 3-year wedding anniversary. And I was like, okay, we need some stuff for the house. All right. We've been putting this off forever and a day. Our house is barren. The only place that's furnished is the basement. That's it. My area is where I just put all the money at. The rest of the house, I got the essentials. I got like the kitchen table. I got a
Your house
sofa.
isn't that badly furnished. Got some stuff.
Yeah, there's some things here, but I mean the walls are very bare. There's no coffee table. There's no like living room rug. There's no like end tables. It's bare as fuck. And so I was like, yeah, you know what? Let's go to IKEA. We'll get some stuff for the house. We'll go for a nice dinner. So we go to IKEA, dude, and we pull up. It takes from where you pull in, it takes you about 4 minutes to get to the parking lot. The thing is huge. We get up to it. It's bigger than our airport. The store is so big. I have never been in a store that big in my entire life. And you walk in, and there's like escalators that take you up, and then there's these lights that go all around the store that
through the entire
that walks
thing.
you through it like it's a fucking, like you're a gerbil like going through a maze, and it's just because it's so big you get lost.
They're hoarding the lemmings.
Yeah, dude.
How
There's
much
a
more
huge,
did
like,
you buy
food
than you
court.
expected?
We bought nothing, dude. We were in there for about 45 minutes, and I was so hungry, and we've gone through 20% of the store. I said, this is not going to work. We got to leave. We got to get food, and we'll come back next week. We got to come back next week because they give you like cards and shit, and you can fill out like the numbers and shit that you want, and then you go down
And you go to the back.
Then you go to the back and they pick it up. But we got it like 20-25% through, and we were like, fuck this, we're gone. And as we were leaving, we went to like a big warehouse place, and it looked like Costco, but times 10, just in one area of the building. It's fucked. Like if you go there, expect to spend money and to be blown away. And the prices are so good that it's like, what the hell? Like, how the hell can you get all of this for this?
Everything in my house, with the exception of my couch and like my bed frame, is IKEA. I'm actually getting rid of an IKEA desk for a more purpose-built one, but like most of my apartment is IKEA. That's IKEA. That thing's IKEA.
I'm gonna furnish my whole house, dude. It's like it's so
have
much
some good
better
stuff.
than going to like other furniture stores. It's cheap. It's all on display. You can kind of see it there, and they like demo it in different.
As long as you don't keep taking it apart, it'll last a while. It's not bad at all. Everyone gives it a bad rap. It's good stuff. I've had this shit for years.
Hey,
Look,
I like
people.
it.
Well, here's the thing. People give it the people that give it a bad rap are probably people that are still from the era in which you could go to a store and buy solid wood furniture without having to remortgage your house.
Dude, my mom saw my TV stand from IKEA, and she's like, "How much did you spend on that? I feel like you spent way too much. Where did you get it from?" I'm like, "I got it from IKEA for like $300." And she's like, "Oh." I go home like a week and a half later. She bought the same damn thing. She told my dad, "She's like, we're going to IKEA. We're buying that TV stand."
Like, you know,
I'm like, okay.
So Adam, in my kitchen, you know, my like the hutch that I have that's like right across from the kitchen. It's like it can hold wine, and it opens up, and we have shit on top there, and there's a picture above it. Well, that hutch that I bought at Sears Outlet when they were going under, and now it's like, like Canadian Tire or whatever's there now.
Yeah,
I don't know what's there now, but so when I went there and I bought it, that hutch is originally $4,400. It's like solid wood, like it's high quality shit, and we wanted to get it because the rest of our kitchen and stuff, there's like nice furniture in there, and we didn't want to cheap out. So when we bought it, was on sale, so we got it for like $2,600. For $2,600 in IKEA, that will furnish my entire house. Like it's fucked. I spent $2,600 when it was on sale. It was like 40% off on one piece of furniture. Now it's a nice piece. I'm not saying you're gonna get that quality shit in IKEA, but come on. I mean, for like the money, the $2,600 can go in IKEA. It
goes real far.
It's
real
fucking
far.
nuts. It's nuts.
There are certain pieces that you definitely
don't
like
wanna
once
cheap
you
out
have
on. Yeah.
once you have a house and you're settled, there are things that you want, like a dining room set, you want to make it good shit.
The only things I don't buy from IKEA would be a dining room set, a couch, and a bed. Everything else, tables, chairs, cabinets, everything can be from IKEA, just not
pictures,
those key pieces.
rugs, like storage.
My rugs are IKEA too. My rugs are IKEA too.
You can buy everything. Like you can even buy like plastic tubs. You can buy like plumbing shit. You can buy like anything.
Lamps are IKEA.
Lamps, lamps. We're buying a bunch of lamps we need for the house. Like it's crazy.
Lighting is expensive too, and for no reason. As long as it doesn't fucking explode, it's a lamp. Like how much money do you really need to spend on a lamp.
$20.
You go in, yeah, and then you go into like a Home Hardware or Home Depot or something. You go to the lighting segment and you're looking at like lamps, and the only one that looks half decent is like $149 for a bedside table lamp.
Ridiculous. Sponsored by
Crazy,
IKEA.
crazy.
Hashtag ad.
I wish they gave me free shit. I'd be all over that. We have an IKEA sponsorship.
Oh, I'd
Jesus
be slapping. I'd wear IKEA.
I'd be like
t-shirts.
hashtag ad. This shit is awesome.
Yep.
No qualms.
Absolutely nuts. Well, gentlemen, shall we dive into our top 10 movies? Do you guys still have your links to your Google Plus?
I actually made a minor modification, but I do have my list in order.
That's fine.
I don't have mine. Where do I find that at? Oh, on the. I can get that written
Panic.
on
You
the
want
page. I know.
Yeah, I think you. Yeah.
I know where to go. All right. You guys can start because it's gonna take me a minute to get this link up.
All right. So just like for those who haven't listened to or weren't here for our top 10 games, essentially we just go in a loop. We do a rough countdown. Sometimes some of us have attempted to put these in order to a degree. I can tell you mine definitely aren't. Yeah, like mine are all over the place.
Wind currents, weather.
Absolutely. So we're technically going to go 10 through 1, but don't necessarily, unless we say it, assume that number 5, for example, is legitimately the middle of the pack movie, because it might not be. But otherwise, yeah, we're just going to go in turn and start from the top and work our way down.
Also, take into account, Jeff and I have watched a couple of million movies, while Adam's only watched maybe a couple of hundred. So
I've watched like 2.
When we say top 10 for Jeff and I, it's like these are good movies, at least by our factors.
I've actually only watched 3 movies. I've just watched them all over and over again. That's how I've gotten through life. It's just with 3 movies.
Damn, this is gonna be tough to put them in from 10 to 1, but I'll try my best.
Yeah, well, I mean, with the games, like I said, with the games, it's like, you know what? Honestly, just with anything, mood changes. I can't order these things. It's just going to be
an approximation.
These are in my top 10. And for my clarification, for me as well, I didn't necessarily pick these movies because I think they are like objectively the greatest movies of all time. I picked these because I just really like these movies. Some of these movies that I have in this list, odds are a lot of people are going to be like,
it's a personal
that is
thing,
a
Adam.
shit,
You don't need to defend
it's
it.
A shit
it's
movie.
what you like. I might poke fun at you, but hey.
But it's just, these are when it comes to movies, it could be a crap movie, but if I like to watch it, I'm gonna watch it. Also, shout out to Walking Tall that was on TV the other day, and I was tired enough that I actually watched it all. That was a movie.
Oh, with The Rock?
Have you guys seen that?
Yeah, of course. That's always on
That
TV.
was probably one of the most generic movies I've ever, like, if there was a grab bag of like tropes in movies that you could pull and then just create the most generic movie of all time, that was 110% one of the, like, anyway, it's not my top 10.
If it's not in your top 10, I don't give a fuck.
It's not my top 10. All right, so who's starting this out? Am I starting this out, or how are we doing?
Go ahead.
All right. In the number 10 spot, this one is on my list because I watched it with my grandfather probably 55,000 times, and it's one of my, I could watch it now. It's not that long. I think the movie is like 45 minutes at best, but I had the VHS and I watched it until that tape exploded. It's Leslie Nielsen, who is a god, and it is Bad Golf Made Easier, and it is, bar none, if you are a golfer, even if you're not really a golfer, because you don't need to understand all that much, but if you are a golfer, this is one of the funniest movies you are ever going to fucking watch in your entire life. I'm telling you. You can see it on YouTube, 100%. The whole movie's on YouTube. Just search it up. Bad Golf Made Easier. I don't even think they made DVD presses of this movie. Just, it's obscure, it's random, and it is absolutely one of my favorite movies for a great number of reasons, notwithstanding the fact that I watched it with my grandfather. It is good stuff. Highly recommend any golfer go check that out. Or if you like Leslie Nielsen, which everyone should, go watch Bad Golf Made Easy. It's free on YouTube and it's 45 minutes. Watch it when you're taking a crap.
That's not even a movie. That's a fucking episode.
Well, I think I might be wrong. I feel like it's on the shorter side. Like it might just be like an hour or something like that. I can't remember.
Damn, it's actually 45 minutes.
Yeah, there you go.
It's like a TV episode.
Awesome. So damn good.
All right, well, I'll take your word for it. I'm never gonna watch that movie, but I'll take.
No, you
absolutely
do. You golf. You will love that movie. It will make you laugh.
I feel like your type of humor is not my type of humor, so
it's Leslie Nielsen. Everybody's humor is Leslie Nielsen humor.
I don't know. I can't say I'm a huge Leslie Nielsen fan.
Oh,
can't say I am. It's a little bit too.
That was a dagger.
It's a little bit too shticky, a little bit too white.
So
a little too white, a little too corny.
Between Adam and Jeff.
Yeah, it's just a little corny. I mean, Adam's a pure white bread fellow that likes like fucking British humor. I'm just like I'm not into slapstick humor. I just find it really immature and just not funny. I just don't. I think it's like trying.
That's fair.
It's not my type of thing.
That's perfectly fair. Perfectly fair. But do you like the movie Airplane?
I won't say I like it, but it's not like it's not bad. Okay. But I've seen it once. I'll never watch it again. And if it's on TV, I'm not going to stop and watch it. But it's not terrible.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I had to toss it out to see. I had to test the waters.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely probably his best movie I've ever seen him in. But all right, Panic. What about you?
So originally I had MI3 on here, but that got bumped off. It's John Wick now.
Ooh,
John Wick's
nice.
number 10.
Nice.
Made some updates.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
I mean, everyone knows John Wick. The reason it made it in the top 10 was the same reason I liked MI3. MI3 was just like a good all-around movie. It had a story, it had plot, it had villain, everything kind of wrapped up together with good action scenes. John Wick, for being a newcomer in the franchise, it wasn't a huge budget. Keanu Reeves kind of came in, owned it. They had a great plot, great story, a lot of exposition, created a new universe without them like trying to like browbeat you into it. It was pretty much just 90 minutes of action, but it had story and it had style. So top 10 for me.
Hey, I can't complain about that. John Wick is a very, very dope action movie, and it's a breath of fresh air, but it's like it isn't something that's like we haven't seen before. It's like a 90s action movie, but in 2015, right?
With like all the tech stuff you'd want to see in it.
Exactly. So it's nice. It's just I love it. I can't wait for the third one. My number 10 movie, I'm gonna go ahead and put Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. I just can't see. I'm looking at my top 10 here. I can't get this in front of any other movie, so I'm gonna put this at number 10. Not only now, there's multiple reasons why I'm gonna have these movies in my top 10. Number one is rewatchability, something that you can watch over and over and over and over again, and you just enjoy it as much or more the more you watch it. And Home Alone 2 is, yes, it's immature. Yes, it's an older movie, but it's simple.
Ironically, slapstick.
Well, it is slapstick, but it's not as much so. It isn't. It's definitely more lighthearted. It's family. It's Home Alone. I think it's the closest thing to slapstick humor that I'll ever get. But the actors in it, they don't make it as cheesy. Like even when Marv is doing his his weird faces when he gets his face smashed in by bricks and shit. Yeah, that's slapsticky, but he does it in a way that it comes off genuine. It doesn't come off like we're watching Whose Line Is It Anyway, where you're watching someone do a skit and they're trying really hard to be funny, and although you have a few chuckles, it just still comes off like it's slapstick.
Marv is Home Alone for me. If you removed Marv from Home Alone, I probably wouldn't watch Home Alone.
Yeah, I mean he's just amazing. So it was like just the way
bandits.
It just felt good. It wasn't cheesy. It was cheesy, but it wasn't like cringe cheese. And it's just a classic. It puts a smile on my face. It's got awesome music. It's got a lot of cameos in the movie that you probably wouldn't realize. Donald Trump is in Home Alone too.
Yep.
You know, there's all kinds of stuff in there. It's great. It's great.
If you could,
So
if you
why
could
not-
assign a flavor to cringe cheese, what would it be? Like, what kind of cheese would it be in most accurate form?
I think probably. Oh man, I would say like
Stilton.
the Three Stooges, like that type of cheese, right? Where it's just like I can't get over it. I can't do it. I can't watch it because it's painful. It's just very painful. Like even a lot of British humor. Like I know a lot of people like the closest thing that I've enjoyed would be you know, Shaun of the Dead. I like Shaun of the Dead because it was a good movie. But pretty much almost everything else that they've done, I found just cringeworthy. I couldn't watch it. Like
I love
like,
Hot Fuzz. I love his
I
movies.
wasn't a huge fan of Hot Fuzz, although it did have a few redeeming qualities. The one that kind of checked me out was the one where they were like bar hopping.
Oh, the end
something
of the
with the
bar hopping to
world.
the end of the world thing. Yeah,
Yeah. I saw that in theater and I just couldn't. That was
that one was
pretty
one
much
of their
it.
later ones.
Yeah, I didn't like that one all that much, but Shaun of the Dead definitely the best. But yeah, like Three Stooges, those sort of things. That's just I can't deal with that.
So why number 2 over number 1?
Number 2, I don't know. I like the action a little bit more. I like the stunts. Like obviously the first one is classic. I like the fact that they brought it back with the you know, you've got 10 seconds to get out of my door or whatever, the whole videotape thing. They did it well in the hotel with the people, the doormen and shit. I like that they went to the abandoned house and they had another place to set up traps. And who doesn't like the part where Marv gets electrocuted and he turns into like the skeleton and shit? It's just
Oh, it's
funny.
so good.
Like it's just funny. And there's a lot. I thought there
They
was a
kept
lot
the
of
same
heart.
formula, but refreshed
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, it was the same formula, but I just thought they did it better. I thought the second one was actually better than the first one. And there was a lot of heart in the movie. There was a lot, like even with the pigeon lady, you know, there's a lot of like undertones there that is like good for kids,
Well,
good
they
family, make you feel good.
They swapped Shovel Guy for Pigeon Lady.
Yeah.
And they used Pigeon Lady more to do the whole family values bit. The Shovel Dude's family values happened in the last 45 seconds of the movie.
Yeah.
And they just kind of slammed that in there. But I mean, I
Both
had to
are
ask
great.
because I like
Both are
one.
great.
I like 1 over 2, but they're both basically. I've watched both anytime.
Yeah.
So they're basically interchangeable for me. But I just have to give an edge to one personally. All right. Well, number 9. This is where I'm gonna attempt. It's gonna be hard, but I'm going to attempt to put this in some sort of order. Number 9, I'm going to give to Gone in 60 Seconds.
Interesting choice.
The Nicolas Cage one, just to clarify.
I figured.
For somebody out there that was going to be a smartass, it's the Nicolas Cage one, Gone in 60 Seconds. You know, you don't watch Gone in 60 Seconds because it's one of the greatest, the greatest acted movies of all time. You watch it because the plot is just good enough to string the awesome cars together. And it was still, at a time when they did this movie, it was still not over-the-top cheese to show, the actor slamming his foot into the clutch and shifting gears every 5 seconds. And yet they did it really well in that movie. Other movies have done it since, and for whatever reason, for me, Gone in 60 Seconds does it particularly well. They just have so many iconic cars in that movie. I think that, honestly, as much as the movie isn't necessarily some sort of, like, high fidelity deal, Nicolas Cage did a really good job in this movie carrying what was, for all intents and purposes, a pretty, whatever script. And I think everyone else also did a pretty good job in it, to be honest. It It was just a solid popcorn movie
Yeah.
that was full of really sexy cars, and a lot of them muscle cars, which are like my crack anyway. And I love the whole concept of Eleanor, the unicorn car, the Shelby GT 500 that isn't necessarily a car that really existed, but we're gonna let it slide because it looked really fucking awesome. And it was funny to watch him go through all of that shit, and then at the very end, like just dink, and oh shit, the side mirrors fucking knocked off, and the guy wasn't having it, and it was good. I don't know. I liked it. For whatever reason, and I've said this before, I like Nicolas Cage. He does some of the shittiest movies of all time, but I can't not
He's
like.
got some really good movies.
He's got some really good movies.
Now, a lot of them are in the 90s. Like, that was when he made his...
Yes.
I think Gone in 60 Seconds was probably his last good movie that he made.
You take his 90s movies, though, he is like the iconic 90s movie star for action stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. No,
yes.
he's good.
But nobody like, everybody always gives him a hard time because he will literally do any movie that you give him a script for.
Well, now,
things like Wicker Man and stuff, and
yeah, like not the bees, like that's Nicolas Cage now.
My favorite Nicolas Cage movies. I mean, Gone in 60 Seconds ain't up there for me, although it's a good movie. Con Air is probably my favorite, and Face Off. Those are the two. Con Air is just so much fun to watch. Like, that is just a fucking
that movie just
blast.
keeps going.
It's just so much fun. So those are good. But hey, Gone in 60 Seconds, I can't be too mad at that.
Yep, that's my number 9.
My number 9 is sticking from the original list. We're going with an old one, Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Oh, Bueller.
Yeah. Again, like, it's just a very, for me, it's like a classic movie. It's like it's my generation when I was born. Like, that was like, and it's a fun movie. I've watched it with a lot of people over and over. It's just one of those things. Like, again, I don't know why. It just resonates with me. I just love the movie.
It's a good classic movie. I mean, it's
It is. It's the one that will get put on TV when we have grandchildren.
Yep.
Oh yeah. A lot of sentimental
still be on TV.
Sentimental value behind it for me.
I've only ever seen it once, and I probably won't watch it again, but it's a good movie. I saw it when I was like 13 or 14 years old. Coincidentally enough, at a Christmas gathering with my family, it was on TV, and we all watched it. So, yeah, it's a good
Ferris
movie.
Bueller's Day Off is the movie that you watch when you too skip school.
Mm-hmm.
That is the movie that you watch. It's nothing else is on TV but soap operas and Ferris Bueller's Day Off, and then you choose to watch Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
A friend of mine actually hadn't seen the movie, and I was just like, we're watching this movie. And I actually was just like, I don't feel like going to work today, so we're going to watch it today.
There you see?
We sat and watched it, and at the end, they were just like, I do not know how I have never seen this movie. This movie's amazing.
All right, now look, if you have a choice between Ferris Bueller and The Price is Right, I'm going to let it slide if you're watching Drew Carey Price is Right, but back in the day, if you passed up on Bob Barker Price is Right to watch Ferris Bueller,
but you can watch Bob Barker. You can watch Bob Barker Price is Right every day when you were homesick from school.
Exactly, it was medicinal.
You can watch it every day.
You got better faster if you watched The Price is Right with Bob Barker. It was it could have been passed as a drug, because I got better faster when I watched it. All right, what's
Jefferson?
What's your number 9?
My number 9 is a horror movie, and it is the only horror movie in my top 10. Actually, no, that's a lie. There is 2 horror movies in my top 10, but this one here is straight up horror. My other one is like a hybrid, but this is straight up horror. And this is the original, The Evil Dead. The Evil Dead, if you guys haven't seen it, I doubt it. Adam has seen the movie.
I have.
You have?
I have.
Wow, okay.
A very long time ago, but Ryan Crimp had it, and we watched it at his place a very long time ago.
That's the movie that established that I do not like horror movies and will never watch horror movies, but that was still a good movie.
So The Evil Dead, it was extremely under budget. Like, there was like no budget. They were using garden hoses and weird shit. You could see there's like a documentary that you can watch on the movie where they show like just slapsticks of just shit that they used. It was a joke. It was a passion project that a bunch of young guys and gals went out in the woods and made. And it is super effective. It is super scary. Now, if you watch it now, yeah, it's super cheesy. But I mean, even if you're probably the age under 15, it still might scare you. It doesn't hold up in terms of like, because there is no CGI. It's all practical. Sometimes that's the scariest stuff. But I just thought it was creepy. The remake was really good as well. I really loved the Evil Dead remake. I thought it was amazing. But it's just classic, and it's one of those movies that scared the living hell out of me. And it also spawned one of the greatest horror comedy guys ever.
Yeah.
Fucking Bruce Campbell. I mean, he's a legend, right? So yeah, and now they have like there's like an Evil Dead TV show, which I hear is absolutely amazing. I watched the first episode, it had me in stitches, and then I hadn't watched it again because I try and watch shows with the wife, and eventually I want to watch it, but I hear the TV show is incredible as well. So yeah, he's just awesome. He turned it into almost a parody, but it was still serious. And then the second one was just absolute gong show, which was amazing. Still scary, still awesome. Evil Dead, I have to put it in there. I love horror. And if you haven't seen it, guys, go watch The Evil Dead.
Yes.
Go. It's creepy.
Worth it.
It's creepy as shit. Oh, Army of
Very
Darkness.
much
Yes, sir.
Worth. Yeah, Army of Darkness. Yeah. All right, where are we? We're at number 8 now, right? All right, let me browse what I've got here. All right, I think I can safely put this at number 8. Again, not the original, although I have watched the originals as well. But the newer ones, Ocean's 11.
I can see that.
Like Gone in 60 Seconds, it's a movie that I could watch 1,000 times, and for whatever reason, I just enjoy it. I think that it is an incredibly rewatchable movie, and it's a very fun movie in general to watch. There's the only thing that falls flat for me is that Julia Roberts is in it, and I hate Julia Roberts, so that was unfortunate. It's just very awkward for me when everyone in the movie is pretending that Julia Roberts is like some 14 out of 10 knockout, and in reality, she is definitely not a 14 out of 10 knockout.
No,
she's like a 7. She's like a solid 7.
Yeah, she's 7.
So, you know, and the whole thing between her and Clooney's character kind of was whatever for me, but that aside, everything else was great in it, and I thought that they did a really good job of recreating like the modern day Rat Pack feel that the original Ocean's movies, you know, were made with, and it's also the first movie. It is, and it's also the first movie that I remember. Before I ever saw anyone on the internet talk about it back in the day, I remember thinking to myself, man, Brad Pitt is eating in every one of these fucking scenes. and then I'd see like another movie and Brad Pitt was eating in every scene in that, and I was like, what the hell is Brad Pitt doing? He's constantly snacking in every single scene in every movie that he's in. And now I can't unsee it. I've just it's his thing, I guess. I don't know if it's like his. It is like, and there were people
shit. Like yeah,
and it's always finger food. Yeah. Like it's constantly finger food. And once I showed that to some people, they were like, they can't unsee it now. And now every movie, a couple people will come back and be like, "Fuck you, man." Because now every time I see Brad Pitt in a movie, he's just constantly eating, and all I can think about is that Brad Pitt's eating in every scene that he's in.
It's also easier to act when you have something.
Yeah, something in your hands.
In your hands as well. It's like a
yeah. So that's basically. I guess that's basically it. It's just it's like Gone in 60 Seconds, highly watchable, and for me, it was about 75% of the way there to kind of creating a modern day Rat Pack with Clooney and Matt Damon, and the rest of them as well. Yeah, just fuck Julia Roberts. She ruins everything for me. So there you go. There's my number 8.
All right, my number 8 Yeah, my number 8 was another one got bumped off. My number 8 was Groundhog Day. Kind of similar, same reasons Jeff had Home Alone 2 on. That was my Home Alone 2. Unfortunately, I don't know. Some people might see this as a weird choice, but I bumped it with Baby Driver.
Ooh, Baby Driver. You liked it that much?
Dude, like I love that kind of movie, and I love Edgar Wright, and that movie just had so much style. And like I watched it again after we saw it in Halifax, and like just the amount of detail and everything that just went into the audio engineering, the cinematography, and everything. Like watching it a second time, it just blew my mind. I bought the freaking vinyl for it, and the vinyl is even off the hook too. Like just everything about that movie, I thought was awesome. So I was just like, you know what, this should be in my top 10.
Yeah, no, I thought Baby Driver was great. I couldn't put it in my top 10 of all time, but it is definitely, I could definitely put it in the top 10 in the last, 5 years. But yeah, no, it's a good choice. I can't argue with that. Baby Driver's good.
Baby Driver was really good. I mean, I'm sure if I watched it a second time, I'd notice even more. But even just watching it the first time through in theater, all I could think of to myself the entire time I was watching is once you caught on that they were lining up almost every action in the entire movie with the music that was in the background in terms of the beat and doors are opening on the 4 and everything is just literally in pace with the movie or with the action in the movie. Down to the gunshots at one point are lining up with it as well, and it was super impressive to me for that reason. I wasn't a fan of how the movie ended at all. The end of that movie kind of killed it a bit for me, and it turned it more into me just being impressed with the technical aspects of Baby Driver and less about the movie in its entirety. But it is a phenomenal movie to say the least. Very good movie.
All right, so we're on my number 8 or 7? 8?
This is 8.
Okay.
Yeah, 8. Yeah.
Oh, geez. Okay. Number 8. Shit. Man, this is tough. Number 8, I'm gonna go ahead and give to The Dark Knight. I'm gonna go ahead and put Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight up there. Obvious reasons. I think it is the greatest Batman movie of all time. It is the greatest villain movie of all time. It is. I want to say it's Christopher Nolan's greatest movie of all time. It's between that. I really like Inception, but I'm probably gonna say The Dark Knight just because it's a home run in every single way. The action's great, the characters are great. What more can I say? It's got the single greatest like bank heist opening scene that I've ever seen in a movie. That's it. I mean,
you know what I want to see? I want to see Nolan do a heist movie.
I think
like
he'd
not a hero, not a hero, but just do a heist movie.
Yeah, I think he'd crush it. I mean, he'd crush anything that he touches. Yeah. But yeah, no, I'm gonna go with The Dark Knight. I mean, I think it's just obvious why.
Yeah, it's of the Nolan Batmans or whatever. That's definitely my favorite of the ones that happened. The problem that I had with it is that, and I guess it's a good problem for a movie to have, is that the Joker was done so well that for me it wasn't even a Batman movie anymore. It was a Joker movie because Christian Bale was acted under the table really, really badly in that movie. Christian Bale is a phenomenal actor. And, as much as I liked his whiskey-induced Batman voice painted all over that series that he did, he got acted under the table like hardcore in The Dark Knight, which isn't necessarily the end of the world, but it made me feel more like I was watching not a Batman movie, but a Joker movie.
I don't think that's a problem, though. It's not like, oh man, I came to see Batman. Well, it's like the whole movie's about Batman. It just so happens that the villain is actually so fucking good that
that's what
it
that's what I'm saying.
overshadows the Batman.
It's not really.
It's not
like,
like a bad thing. It's like, well, I didn't ask for a Joker movie. It's like, man, we got the single greatest villain in a comic book movie
Hands
ever.
down, no argument.
Like ever. So I mean, that's why I love it so much. I wouldn't love the movie if he wasn't the Joker. I just wouldn't. I mean, he just embodied that literally to the point where he pretty much killed himself. Doing the role. So
yeah,
it's
if anyone else was the Joker in that movie, do you think it would have been talked about at all?
No. I mean, it would have been great because it was a Christopher Nolan movie, but it wouldn't be like this. I mean, Jesus. That's just he almost ruined the Joker character because no one else is ever going to be able to come close to what he has accomplished. The closest thing would be like Mark Hamill's Joker. That's
Mark Hamill's voice.
Yeah,
yeah, like that's the only other distinguishable Joker that doesn't get scrutinized.
They're the two different versions of Joker.
Yeah, that nobody complains when Mark Hamill does Joker.
Well, yeah.
So no, Dark Knight.
This guy did an impression. It wasn't Hamill, but a guy who does a really good Mark Hamill impression did Heath Ledger's lines as Hamill's Joker, and it was insane. Like, I'll find the video for later for you guys, but it was insane.
It's good.
Yeah,
it's good.
Yeah. Well, bless Jared Leto for trying, but he's got a steep hill to climb.
They just needed to burn an actor so that they can finally do Joker again later.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, what's his face is playing Joker now. For the Joker movie, the guy from It, he's going to be playing Joker, the young Joker, and Leto is going to be in the same movie, and we're going to see the Joker become Joker with the young guy that plays It, which I think he's going to do amazing with. And the crazy thing is, they look alike. So he'll start off as the young Joker, and then within the movie, it'll do like or the movie's going to be about Jared Leto, but it'll do backflashes to like where he was younger and how he became the Joker, and that's where I think his name's like Tom or Tim or whatever his name is. I forget. His whole family's, all of them are actors, but it's going to do flashbacks of him doing Joker, which I think is going to be great, and him and Jared Leto look like Bill. There it is, Bill Skarsgård. They look like identical. It's crazy. Like even in person, he looks like a younger version of the cracked out Joker that Jared Leto plays. So I'm very, very excited for what they can do with that.
My number 7, Panic has already pulled it out of the deck, so it will be quick. It's John Wick.
Oh wow.
Yep. First one or second one, really. I mean,
they're interchangeable to me. They're like they're
pretty interchangeable. I think that the first one has strengths, the second doesn't, and vice versa. They trade in certain areas. But yeah, so John Wick. We've all talked about John Wick several thousand times in this podcast. It's fantastic. It's one of the most intriguing action universes that have been done in my memory, and of all the action movies I've watched. And it's good enough that when I'm watching it, despite the fact that the action is some of the best that I've ever seen as well in a movie like this, I'm still interested in the actual universe and not just the fact that Keanu Reeves is an immortal god that does incredible things on a daily basis, including in these films. So yeah, it was great. And I could watch it again. One of those things, I could watch John Wick a hell of a lot of times, and it's probably not going to get old for me because it's just good stuff. And I too hope the third one is great. And while I wish that the third was the last of the Wick stuff that we're going to get, I doubt it will be. But a man can dream.
As long as they're good, I'll keep watching them.
Yeah.
All right, what's up?
So there you go.
My number 7. We're gonna go with the 80s again. Rocky 4.
Rocky 4.
4. Okay,
Yeah.
so Rocky. You have to, if you're gonna pick a Rocky movie, now you have to say why 4 over the 36 other Rocky movies.
Well, Rocky 4 is the quintessential Cold War, versus, it's Rocky versus Drago. There's a major plot event. Hopefully, I'm not spoiling this for anyone. Apollo Creed dies. You know, it was, and again, it's the quintessential. I like looking at older movies and watching older movies and classic.
He dies.
Exactly. And, I felt personally Rocky had kind of gotten stale from 1, 2, and 3. Character was kind of losing its way, but 4 brought the franchise back in the sense that, like, a lot of people will go and say Rocky 4 is the best movie. And when you go into it, you're like, why? But then you listen to the soundtrack, you listen to how they put it together, you listen to kind of the message they were trying to send in the movie. And like for me, I'm like, this is quintessential 80s. It's so representative of the time. And it's just a good and fun movie to watch. Like you're rooting for Rocky the entire time. He's going up against big bad Russia. And, for me, I don't know. It's like one of those movies that if it's on TV, I will stop what I'm doing and I will watch it. I went to do the Alamo Drafthouse was doing like the Rocky movie marathon thing, and it was 4 not Rocky movie man, they did that too. It was 6 or 7 random Stallone movies in a row you don't know, all original 35mm prints, and you only find out what movie it is when they start rolling, and they ended it with Rocky 4, and like the entire theater after watching 5 movies in a row in a theater, entire movie theater just went nuts and was like. So, like, for me, getting to watch that movie in original 35mm print
was pretty good.
Yeah.
Not bad.
All right.
Not bad.
I think I accidentally just exited out my list here. One sec.
Rip. Yeah, while Jeff does that, I'm a Rocky 1 guy.
Rocky 1 is fantastic, too. I love that movie.
The reason why I like Rocky is less about the movies themselves, although there are some very good Rocky movies throughout the series, and more about the story behind the movies being or getting made in the first place. That has always been more impressive to me than just the movies themselves, though I do enjoy the Rocky movies. Just the whole concept of Stallone desperately trying to push this through over and over and over and over again, and finally makes it happen, and he does it for like $0.00 and pulls it together, and it becomes this crazy huge sensation, and that's probably why I like him so much. Yeah, dude, it's crazy. So that's for me definitely why I like Rocky, but Rocky 1 for me for sure.
Yeah, I did like Creed. I thought Creed was great. All right, so I'm on number 7, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so number 7. This is a tough one now because we're getting down to all ones that I just really, really like. I'm gonna go with The Matrix for number 7. Keanu Reeves movie. It is the start of one of the best franchises ever made. I absolutely loved the Matrix franchise. Part of me loved Reloaded. Part of me loved Revelations or whatever the fuck it's called.
Revolution, that's it.
Reva CGI. But I loved it. I loved it all. I wish they would bring the Matrix back. I wish they would either reboot it or bring back Keanu Reeves and figure out a way to continue the story. I just thought the Matrix was transcendent. I mean, it took the action genre and created an action genre. It was the birth of slow-mo. It was the perfect amount of sci-fi meets action. It was the fact that you could go into the Matrix and kind of be and do whatever you want was super cool. They didn't have to follow a specific formula in terms of like locations to be. It was the Matrix. They just needed a good script and coherent direction, and they could just make whatever they wanted with it because it was whatever the Wachowski siblings or whatever you want to call them these days.
Attack helicopters.
Yeah, whatever it is that they wanted to do, they could do. And obviously, this was when the Wachowskis were geniuses at filmmaking. And
that Speed Racer happened.
Yeah, and then sex changes happened and bad things happened with writing and directing and decision making, and they're dead to me. So, Matrix. I mean, it's there. There it is. There's not much more to say about it. It's the fucking Matrix. It's number 7.
It's a good choice. It's a good choice. All right, so number 6 for me, Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back. It's always fun to ask somebody who's seen the original trilogy which of the original trilogy is their favorite, and everyone has their own deal. I just felt like there was the most right things done in The Empire Strikes Back out of the original trilogy. I enjoyed. It was also the point before. It was the point before everyone was just kind of OP. Like by the third movie,
they weren't phoning it in yet.
Yeah, exactly. The third one was. It's not like the third was a bad movie or anything, but it just kind of felt like they were going through the motions. Number one, they were still catching their stride, and 2 just seemed to be like the one that everyone was excited to be a part of it, and everyone wanted to do Star Wars, and they showed up and they fucking nailed it. And so that's probably why it ended up being my favorite of the original trilogy. But while I can watch Star Wars pretty frequently over and over again, of the 3, that's the one that I can watch the most, and so I chose that one to take, because I knew I wanted Star Wars in here somewhere, but then I had to decide which one. That's going to be the one for me.
Cool. I can't add anything to that. Can't complain about it.
So mine, which number is it? 5?
6.
6. My number 6 movie. I'm judging if I still want it on my list after recent events, but I don't have anything to replace it with. So we're gonna go with Terminator 2: Judgment Day. Like after again, it's classic 80s 90s action movie. For me, it was peak Arnold. And it's just like from a cinematic standpoint, it's one of Cameron's best, action movies ever made. That's all there really is to say for it for me. And it holds up. Like if you were to watch it today, not necessarily any of the new editions, even if you watch the original one from the 90s, it holds up as an action movie.
It does.
It's parallels, and you can watch it and, everything still applies.
Yeah, no, that's a good choice. I'm going to go for my number 6. I'm going to go a Star Wars as well, and I'm going to go with the first Star Wars, A New Hope, or just, Star Wars.
I almost had a little heart attack when you said the first Star Wars. I'm like, Episode 1, please God, no.
No. The real first Star Wars.
Real first.
Yeah, I mean, listen, this is a classic. My dad showed me this movie. We had it on VHS, and my dad always loved Star Wars, and so he waited until I was old enough to show me Star Wars. I don't even remember how old I was. I know we were living up in Cowie Hill, so I would say I was probably 11, maybe 12, maybe, when I first saw Star Wars. And I loved it, fell in love with it, and we watched all 3 of them. And I have to say, although I do agree, I think Empire Strikes Back is probably the best made Star Wars movie ever in terms of everything. But I have to go with the original Star Wars because it is what introduced me to the characters, the world, the lore. I loved watching Luke Skywalker figure out his Jedi powers or start to figure those out. Ben was a great character. Got to see what happened with his 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 aunt and uncle. It was the beginning, and I think if I were to have watched Empire Strikes Back first, and it was the only one I've seen, or if I even watched that and then went back and watched the original, I probably would pick Empire Strikes Back. But I feel like this movie pays off so much more for me because I know everything that is going to happen, And so when I go to rewatch this movie, it all just makes so much sense. And it's so well done. It was like George Lucas knew what he wanted with Star Wars. He kind of stuck to it. And it was cool to see him make a film that he didn't think it was big. I mean, at Empire Strikes Back, he knew it was a big deal. They went in and did it, but this was a pure passion project that you could tell he put it all out there. It was weird, and it worked. And so for that, for risk purposes, for the first time I was introduced, because I think all Star Wars movies are fun. I mean, even Episode 2, 1, 2, and 3, there is fun to be had with those movies just because it's Star Wars. I think I thought Rogue One was great. I think Episode 7. I'm gonna take a lot of shit for this, but I think Episode 7 was better than, well, obviously better than all the prequels. But I think it was up there, or if not, even more of an enjoyable experience than the originals, and only because I got to see what George Lucas wanted to be able to do being done, like in technology that we can do now, in terms of lightsaber fights, in terms of force power, in terms of like space battles, all those things. I got to see it in Episode 7. And I can't put it in my top 10 because I don't have that type of nostalgia like I do for the original Star Wars. But when I think about it, number 7 could be the best made Star Wars film ever for me in terms of entertainment. Is it the best because it is a copy of A New Hope? No. I mean, it's obviously pretty much a carbon copy, but man, oh man, was it fucking fun to watch that in theater, and how exciting was it to go to the theater knowing you're getting Episode 7, and it was just amazing, that whole experience. I never got those experiences with the original trilogy, so I was too young to go to the theater and get my popcorn and sit in there and watch it on a big screen, and it was amazing to have that. I had that with the prequels, but the prequels weren't very good. Like, they had good moments in them, but they weren't groundbreaking movies. Episode 7 destroyed the prequels, and I got to have that experience. And knowing how bad the prequels were, I had high expectations, and we had great director, cool cast. My expectations were high, and they didn't disappoint. I love 7.
Is it wrong for me to say that Rogue One is my favorite Star Wars movie? Like,
No.
no Star Wars movie made it to my top 10, but out of like all the movies we've gotten, Rogue One was actually my favorite out of all of them. Not to say the others weren't good or anything, but I just felt like that was the most like well put together Star Wars I've seen.
I thought it was good. I definitely can't even put Rogue One in like my top 3 for Star Wars movies, but it was, when we get these big collections of side movies,
yeah,
I think Rogue One will stand the test of time to be probably the best or one of the best. But it's hard to put it on a scope where we don't even really have Jedis. Like we don't even really have fucking, Jedi fights in it. So yeah, there's just part of Star Wars. That's
what I liked about it.
I will say that the Darth Vader scene was one of the best Star Wars payoffs
all the other
ever.
Star Wars movies in perspective. Like, you finally understand what it's like to just be in the universe, and you understand like, oh shit, okay, not everyone is powerful until you, like, when you see that Darth Vader scene, you're like,
yeah,
okay, yeah, this isn't some old guy swinging a stick around. This guy's gonna fuck some shit up.
Yeah, no, I agree. And seeing Darth Vader do that, I mean, if you guys haven't seen Rogue One by now, well, then that's your own fucking. You're not even a Star Wars fan.
If you haven't seen
you're not
it
even
yet.
a Star Wars fan, so I'm not even worried about you. But seeing him come out and then how they kind of started, well, pretty much right into where it all started, was amazing to see. And what I loved about the Darth Vader scene, not only was it just awesome to see Darth Vader kick ass, but Darth Vader actually looked scary. Like, he looked like he would be feared. Like, there are other Sith lords and baddies in Star Wars throughout the years. Even Darth Maul, you would see Darth Maul, which I think is one of the coolest villains in Star Wars ever. Even he, although he looked evil, he didn't have that presence of like, I am the fucking man, fear me.
Yeah, but he fucking killed Liam Neeson's.
Yeah. So like,
so fuck Darth Maul.
So you know, Darth Maul was cool to look at, and it was and his staff was cool and all that stuff. But Darth Vader, the combination of the music, the voice, the cape, the suit, and just the way he commanded people to do what he wanted at his will, and did it so effortlessly, but did it so, it was almost like seeing John Wick kill people, the way John Wick kills people, and you're like, oh fuck, oh shit, and like he does these body movements and stuff, the gung fu and shit that he does, that makes shooting look a lot more menacing than what it typically would in an action movie where they're just shooting guns. But when he does it, there's swag and flair to it, and the way that Darth Vader did, it was just menacing. It was like, oh, every time he fucking hits somebody, you're going, oh, fuck. And how many times have we seen people get cut up? But the way he did it, like he'd be choking somebody out from over there and fucking slicing somebody up
like
there.
He's like looking this way, and he's just like,
and he's just
you're
fucking
dead.
people.
I'm screwing you up. You're not having kids. I'm gonna you're all just having bad days. And you know what? I don't care. I'm walking this way.
Yeah,
I'm going
and he
right
didn't
here.
give a fuck. It's like, you know, in horror movies where you have say like Michael Myers or the Texas Chainsaw Massacre or whatever, and you've got your protagonist, and they're running around a house or in a field, and the antagonist is chasing them, but there'll be times where it's almost like they're toying with the protagonist, like with the main character, or they're going slow, or it's like, dude, if you really want to kill this person, just run and like go and fucking get them. But they're taking their time, and because of that, there's this, for me, it's, yeah, sure, it's scary, and yeah, sure, that certain characters do certain things, but it isn't as menacing. And it was like when Darth Vader showed up, and his one goal was to move forward and get through the door and kill on the way there was no stopping him. There was no like, oh, look at this guy over here. I'm gonna take my eyes off the target, and I'm gonna go and deal with this, and then I'll get back to it. It was pure focus, and everyone's getting raped all around, and it was just like, holy fuck, and everybody around him is screaming for their lives, and they're scared as fuck. And it's a good feeling.
Like, I'm gonna keep going.
The more I talk about it, I want to put Rogue One in my top 10 because it's just good. It's just such a payoff.
Why it's on my list?
It's such a payoff. It's just the best. It's the best lightsaber scene ever in any movie, in any Star Wars movie.
Chaotic.
And it's you don't. Wait, I don't need a CGI Yoda flipping around and fucking swinging lightsabers that you don't even know what the fuck is going on. I mean, you just got Darth Vader just.
What do you mean he's like, he's doing one-handed with the saber? There's only one.
It's fucking fire.
He doesn't even need to.
Makes me want to just, after I'm done this, I'm YouTubing that scene.
What they need to do now is they need to follow up and have the future lightsaber battles hold the same amount of swagger that one singular scene has, and then apply it to an actual battle between a Jedi and a Sith. Because if they can't do that,
none of them around.
If they can't do that, then that's, you know, brutal.
Other than the Vader fight scene, the only saber scene that really holds up in like sheer tenacity is Anakin versus Obi-Wan, where they were just going at it.
I thought that scene was shit.
I actually enjoyed it.
I liked the lightsaber fights, but I thought the CGI was poorly done, and it just looked like they were on a set. It just didn't feel. It didn't feel like they were on a planet and there was stakes to it. And then of course you get Hayden Christensen like crying and acting the fucking stupid, right? So
the Darth Maul scene is by far
that was good too.
Out of the prequels, the best saber battle, because you don't think when I remember watching it, you don't think Qui-Gon's gonna die. Like, it never crossed my mind when I was watching it. I'm watching this going, we just got this show on the road. Qui-Gon's like a fucking legend. There's no way he's going to go down to this. It's whatever. And then it happens, and my mind was just like fucking blown. But the battle itself was actually really well done. And they, despite the fact that I hate that they killed off Qui-Gon because he's my favorite Jedi, it was a great scene because it framed Darth Maul as the bad guy, that if that scene didn't happen, Maul would not have been nearly as great of a bad guy as he ended up being. but ultimately Darth Maul got underused anyway, so it didn't matter. He just got.
I think we'll
fucked
see
on
him
anyway.
again anyway. He's still alive in canon, so
Yeah, he got huge
Yeah.
use in the comics and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
as much as
Yeah.
they might have given him crap in
the
only
animation
the first one,
series, like him and his brother or something,
he's
like
he's a big deal.
Yeah. All right, let's keep
But it
going.
was, yeah, it was good. So, well, my next one's quick because you guys have been pinging off stuff that I have on my list as well. My number, this is 5 now, right?
Yep.
That's where we're at. My number 5 is Terminator 2: Judgment Day. Yeah,
That's good.
it's a really good movie. The first Terminator was good. Terminator 2 is even better. And I consider it to be easily one of the greatest action movies of all time. And I think when you think about movies that are as old as Terminator 2, especially in the action genre, how many of them can hold up today? The list is somewhere around 1 movie long, and it includes Terminator 2. So it's unbelievable. The CGI for the T-1000 still looks fucking good for some reason. Like they did such a good job that the T-1000
Hard to fuck up liquid metal.
Still looks awesome.
Yeah.
And it just it's great. I think it's Terminator at its best. I don't think that they'll ever be able to top Terminator 2 in the Terminator franchise.
They should stop trying.
They should stop trying, but they're not going to. I think that this was also as much as Terminator is not exactly some multi-dimensional character. I think Schwarzenegger figured the Terminator out the best in Terminator 2 and rocked it for the entire movie, and just super entertaining. Was it Terminator 2 that in the re-releases of it for Blu-ray and stuff, they changed the theme song?
It was minor.
But it pissed everyone off because it wasn't the do-do-do-do-do. It was like a totally different friggin'... and it sounded like shit.
It was a weekend, like, it wasn't as mechanical or machine-like.
Yeah,
it didn't have as much, like, gravitas to it. I don't have a word for it.
Yeah, so I think people are still waiting for them to redo it again with the proper the proper music in it, because it's just like that alone. I think that says how important this movie is.
That was
if
one of the
people
first
are pissed
movies
off
for like THX, and I think the re-releases didn't quite have that license or whatever.
Yeah, like if people are pissed off about the fact that you slightly modified a part of the music in the movie, it's taken pretty seriously. But yeah, so there you go. That's my number 5, Terminator 2. I should watch that again soon.
It's good. Number 5 for me. Jeff kind of mentioned this one earlier, but I have a bunch of Nolan movies on this. Inception. Yeah. Honestly, for me, this is probably one of the first cerebral movies I've put on my list. But for me, I would say this is actually peak Nolan for me. Even though I have 2 of his other movies higher up. I just love everything about this movie, the concept, the premise, the execution of it. For me, I feel like this is one that I've watched a couple of times. I always see little nuances here and there. But I feel like, this is a movie like 10, 15, 20 years from now, if I were to sit down and watch again, I would still see it as being kind of, pretty profound and, interesting to watch.
Yep.
Yeah. One of those endings that people are forever going to theory craft about.
Questions.
And still question. And yeah, it was just an all around really damn good movie. Really good to watch in theater. That was a theater movie in 3/4.
All
it is
of
good at home.
Nolan movies are theater movies, man. They're just because they're experiences, and that's what I love about all of his stuff. It's all shroud in secrecy. He's just a mad genius. And Inception was just incredible, dude. This is just such a good movie. I'm kind of mad it's not even in my top 10. All right, so I'm on my number 5. Number 5, I am gonna go and get this one out the way. We're bringing in Denzel Washington with John Q. We're going with John Q. One of my favorite Denzel movies of all time. I mean, it's hard for me to put. I
love that movie.
There are better Denzel movies. Like, there are just better Denzel movies. But John Q is just a filled movie. Like, if you don't cry watching John Q, you're soulless. And
if you're in a bad place, don't watch John Q.
Yeah,
You're on his side for that entire movie.
Yeah,
Like, that movie is a strong
for those
one.
that don't know what John Q is about, John Q, played by Denzel, his son has a heart attack, or he has a heart condition, and he needs a heart transplant. And it talks about sort of the shit fest that is American healthcare. Also,
Still valid today.
still very, very valid today. Really, nothing has changed. It talks about how really the rich can get hearts and things that they need and get bumped up on lists and get the right doctors and things, and that you're not taken care of unless you have insurance. But that's just sort of the undertone of it. The main thing about it is it's basically about a father that doesn't have a lot. All he has is his family, and he will not take no for an answer. He will do anything and everything it takes to make sure that his son gets a heart. And so he takes a hospital hostage, and he demands a heart. And there's a huge media thing about it, and it's just filled with it's
super valid today.
It's just
for sure.
It's such an emotional movie, and Denzel does multiple scenes, but there's one scene in particular where he just crushes it so bad, and I don't care how many times I've seen the movie, it makes me tear up every single time. John Q, if you guys haven't seen it, go watch it. If you want to have a good cry, and
there's no other actor that could have captured that character like him.
No,
like you guys are not doing anything wrong if you go and watch that movie, even like right now. Like, and it's also just quintessential Denzel.
I'm not a Denzel Washington fan, and John Q is a spectacular movie, and if I had to choose a Denzel movie,
I love
it
all
would be
of his
John
movies.
Q.
I can't put any of them on my list because there's too many of them. Like, I could have a top 10 Denzel list.
Oh yeah. So yeah, there it is. John Q.
He's one of my favorite actors.
I'm sure a lot of people out there have not seen the movie, so go out and watch it. You will not be disappointed.
What are we on, number 4?
Number 4.
Number 4. I'm going to go with oh, this is getting tough now. We're starting to get into the area where I could interchangeably move some of these around.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Interstellar.
Ooh, yeah. Fuck, that's good.
Yeah.
I wanted to put that on my list, but I couldn't figure out where.
Fuck, what an IMAX experience, man.
That is my number 1 IMAX experience.
Yep.
Yeah.
Was Interstellar.
It's even good on my TV.
It is. I at home, same thing. Great, like just but in IMAX, watching them cross the fucking singularity fucked me. Like, not a lot makes me lose my balance or gets me fucky. That part in IMAX fucked me up. Good.
It really felt like we were in the ship, and we were experiencing what they were experiencing. It was that fucking insane. It was just orgasmic.
It just again, unfortunately, ruined by one of my least favorite female actresses with that stupid fucking love.
Oh, Anne Hathaway.
That's why it's not on my. That's why it's not on my top 10. That was why.
Forgot about why that had to be in there is beyond me, and I feel like even she knew when she was doing it that it was dumb, and fucking had to do it anyway. And just take that out of the movie. Just get it out of there. Just fucking get it out of there. I know it doesn't need to be in there, but everything else about that movie
from the future is fine, and they would have been all good.
Yeah, it was a home run. They did a lot right. It's getting something that I don't think a lot of people realize is that the further along the timeline we go here in reality, the harder it is to do science fiction really well, because we are getting it to the point where despite the fact that we might not have all these technologies, the average person is aware of the fact that we could very well have a lot of shit here inside of the next generation or two of people. And so trying to extrapolate based on what we know now and create a science fiction movie like Interstellar is not an easy thing to do, because you have to work a lot harder than you would have in the past to not necessarily pull the wool over people's eyes, but to make it believable, but also make it still kind of grandiose and out there.
Scrutinized more now, right? Like people are going to question every little scientific thing that you do in the movie, and there will be somebody out there that can prove if this is theoretically possible or isn't possible. And what was nice about Nolan is he had the right scientists, he did all the right research, and everything that was in that movie was basically doable beyond beyond his vision of the whole
artistic liberties taken.
Like he still had to make a movie, but
exactly.
the scientific parts of it was like bang on. Just so good.
It was good. The twist at the end I thought was done really, really well. The speech he gives when he's in the library, no, but the visual aspect and the way that they've represented what was happening, that was really well done. I just thought it was great. The music in that movie
so good
is so good.
Yeah. Dude, if Hans Zimmer, if he comes to Halifax to do a concert, I would be there so fast. There actually isn't even a ticket price that would price me out of that. Like if they're like it's $200 a ticket, I'd be like, that's it. Cool.
That's cheap.
Let's
in. Go.
I'll take 2.
So it's definitely up there for me. It was the first movie in a long time that I was in awe when I was watching it in theaters, and so it left a pretty big impression on me in that regard. And I could say I like it so much that I pick it apart, but it still wouldn't stop me from watching that movie over and over and over again. So yeah, big thumbs up. Interstellar, number 4.
Number 4 for me, we're going to go with one that Jeff already mentioned, but I have different reasons. I do not value the entire trilogy. I will only acknowledge the first movie in it. We're going to go with The Matrix. As a whole, the movie stands on its own. It stands the test of time. It's something you can watch over and over again. Still profound, still great message, great action movie. Done.
There you go. Beautiful.
Easy enough. My number 4, now we're getting it down. I'm going to go with The Gladiator. The Russell Crowe epic, the Ridley Scott epic.
Are you not entertained?
Yes, that is where, for those that don't know, that is where I got the name Maximus from. Basically, my rap name was always Major Pain. And then when I watched Gladiator, I just wanted my name to be Maximus, so I changed my rap name to Maximus.
Hey Jeff.
Yeah.
It's Major Pain.
I used to rap with a rasp.
Better know my name.
It's Major Pain and I got mad game. Better know the main name. It's all the same. It was just bad. So I got all that shit on my computer too.
Thank you, Gladiator.
You know what?
Did Mike Jones ever hit you up?
Oh man, dude. Dude, the music is so cringe, but it's so badly awesome. So yeah, and then when I started to go online and I used to fill out Maximus, of course it was always taken because the name Maximus. So I added black at the end because, well, I'm black. So that is how I came up with the name Maximus Black. So instead of putting Maximus, I added the black, and typically that was never taken on any of the forums or different things that I would sign up for, video game usernames, things. And that is how Maximus Black was released. The Patreon reward. You're gonna have to go heavy for that. There's some embarrassing shit in there.
You guys want to know the funny thing? I actually thought that Adam was the black one.
Yeah,
and Jeff was the white one.
Well,
before I
saw
a
lot of people
did.
I saw
the first Life's a Glitch TV video, I'm like, oh shit, I had that backwards.
Yeah.
Oh, that wasn't uncommon. That was a lot of people did for sure. Okay, well, where are we at? Is it me?
Yeah,
number 4.
You're on number 3.
No, we're on number 3 now.
Oh, number 3.
Yeah.
Number 3. Again, just easy and fucking Panic just did it. The Matrix is my number 3. I think that if I had to choose an action movie to end all action movies, it's The Matrix. I think that it will continue to be in our lifetime the most influential action movie ever made. And I think that it will, because of the aesthetic that they chose for it, despite the fact that you can tell it definitely happened at the end of the 90s, it will still look and hold up for a very, very, very long time. It created, like we talked about, the 360 slow-mo crazy shit. That blew my mind in ways I didn't think fucking possible when I first saw that.
They
The
set
music
that shit up at
is
conventions now.
the music is fucking 10 out of 10, without question. I love everything about the Matrix universe. They post the first one, they get a little heavy-handed with the biblical references. They get a little ham-fisted with it. They were almost ham-fisted in the first one, but they went full fucking cyber Jesus from 2 and 3. Just all of that just got real crazy. But I'll be damned if it isn't a spectacular fucking movie, down to just the green filter that they put on when they're in, that you maybe don't even necessarily notice the first time you watch it. And then when you see it, you're like, oh shit. When they're in the Matrix, this shit kind of looks like the old friggin' computer monitor. It's got that green hue to it. And it's just everything. There's just such little details everywhere that you pick up on. And I love the interaction between Keanu Reeves and Lawrence Fishburne in that fucking movie. I think it was
John Wick is still there.
really good. Yes, exactly. And this was before John Wick. This was Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
He was Neo. And only after John Wick came around did he finally lose the moniker of forever being Neo. And I think that's super impressive. And again, a compliment to John Wick that you could strip such a iconic, character off of Keanu Reeves and replace it after all this time. So yeah, there you go. Matrix number 3. Yeah, there you go.
My number 3, we're going into another Christopher Nolan movie, but this is not one that most people will pick. Memento.
Memento, yeah. I just rewatched that like 3 months ago.
Yeah, it holds up still. But it was not as common a movie that people would know about, but it's so good. It's Guy Pearce, Joe Pantoliano, Carrie-Anne Moss is in it too, actually. But it's the whole premise of the guy can't create new memories, and what is his actual life, and there's a lot of stuff like I've probably watched it about 10 times now, and every time I watch it, it kind of changes how I look. I'm like, was I right when I thought about it before last time, or is it something actually different? Because there's just so many little different paths and like ways you can think about it that change the way the movie plays out for you. So like for me, it's still one of those ones that I'll pick up at least once a year and just watch it and be like, what do I think about this now? How does this reflect on my mindset? All this other stuff. And again, if you haven't watched it, highly recommend it.
Yeah, it's great. Can't you put that in the top 10? I can't shit on you for it. My number 3 now.
This is 3, yeah.
Oof.
This is the tough stuff.
Oof. All right, number 3 is going to be my favorite movie director of all time.
I wonder.
And one of my favorite movies of all time. It's definitely the newest movie on my list, without a doubt. I've watched the movie 4 times. I own it on Blu-ray, DVD. Probably got it on a laptop sitting somewhere. And does the title include times of the day? Nope. It is Django Unchained. Django Unchained. This movie.
Ever see a Nigerian in a suit?
This is straight up one of the greatest movies ever made for me. It is. I love slavery pieces. and it is the ultimate slavery redemption piece ever. Quentin Tarantino dropped like the most N-bombs in a movie. The Jamie Foxx destroys this. It's just got enough humor in it. It is over the top, brutal and gruesome. It has serious tones, but yet it doesn't take itself too serious. Christoph Waltz is just an amazing actor. His character is incredible. And who the fuck cannot forget about Leonardo DiCaprio doing
That one
probably
scene.
his single greatest scene that he has ever had his entire life.
Yep.
He was he embodied that character. Everybody just showed up and fucking destroyed it. If you did not see Django Unchained, you fucked up. You need to go watch it. It's incredible. I wish the movie was 10 hours long. Quentin Tarantino is the greatest movie director of all time, and Django Unchained's a masterpiece. And I should have it number one, but there are 2 other movies above it that I
was spending a while on here trying to figure out where to put Hateful Eight, and I'm just like, I can't move any of these off, so Hateful Eight's sitting at like number 11 on my list.
I loved Hateful Eight too.
Yeah. Django was
Good
amazing. It was the right amount of, for me, it was the right amount of seriousness and then humor, humor sprinkled in, often at the most random moments.
Even Samuel L. Jackson, like his humor in it,
yes,
and the character he played, it was like everybody showed up, man. There was no weak link. It was just good. It was just so good.
But I think like you said, for me the movie was made when that Leonardo DiCaprio scene happened. That scene is, it pissed me off when he didn't get awarded anything for that scene, because when he won for what was I watched it
Bear
eventually.
Revenant,
The Revenant. When he won for that, I was like, you're just giving it to him now.
Yeah.
I mean, you're handing it. Yes, the movie was good. Yes, he did great things. He ate raw fucking like hearts and shit, whatever. But it wasn't his best movie, and it wasn't his best performance even. And so it bothered me when he didn't win it for that, because that scene is next level, for sure. And that whole movie is just really, really, really damn well done. Christoph Waltz nailed it. That was my introduction to him, that I recognized his name. That was like the movie that I now, from that point on, whenever I saw his name come up, I would pay more attention to it. So yeah, that's a fantastic choice, to say the least. To say the least. Okay, so the last two. I've got one that people will probably get a chuckle out of, and then one that people will say, yeah, okay, that belongs in this list. So
okay.
I'll get the chuckle out of the way first. It's the one that will show up on nobody else's top 10 ever, other than Bad Golf Made Easier, because nobody's gonna have that either. but the one that nobody else will have, and it's the only movie with this son of a bitch that I don't see him playing himself. It's Tom Cruise as Tom Cruise in The Last Samurai. It's not even
I like the movie.
It's good.
You could have replaced Tom Cruise with somebody else, and the movie would have been just as good for me, because I actually didn't necessarily like it because it was Tom Cruise, at all, because I'm not a Tom Cruise fan whatsoever. Ken Watanabe was fantastic in that movie. I like him in general, but he was really good in this movie. Again, the music, big surprise. Zimmer smashed it, as he always does. I really like the cinematography in it. They did a fantastic job in this movie with framing scenes, and you could tell that they got a lot of inspiration from older Japanese artwork and
there's even
and
like
whatnot.
Bravehearts. Like there's even nods to other great war films in there as well. It's good.
Yeah,
man. It's good.
Yeah, I thought it was good. And again, like I say, my rib against Tom Cruise is that he plays Tom Cruise in every fucking movie that he's in. And this was the first time, when I first saw the movie anyway, that I didn't feel like I was watching Tom Cruise play Tom Cruise. And so it went over a little better for me, if not only for that. So yeah, really
What
great
about
stuff.
Edge of
What's
Tomorrow?
his...
Didn't you not like him in that?
I haven't seen it yet. I have it upstairs. I haven't watched it yet, but I have it upstairs. I have it upstairs. I've been trying to convince Gabs to watch it. I haven't been able to make it happen.
Would
yet.
love that movie,
Gabs would love
like.
it. It's so Japanese like, and it's so video game like. It's fucking amazing.
But
that might even be on your top 10. Next Thursday, you're gonna go, dude.
Watch it before
know.
Thursday. Watch it before Thursday, and we'll talk about it next week.
I'll try and make it happen. But yeah, so that was for sure a thing that stood out for me. And then what's his name? Billy. Oh, the fucking Scotsman, Billy. Somebody
guy from
will
Boondock
say
Saints. The guy from Boondock Saints.
Somebody will say
guy.
it in chat. He's every time he shows up and he plays
Connolly?
the same role. Yeah, that's it. He plays a lot of the same role anyway. But I get a kick out of him every time. I can't not laugh at Billy. He's a great dude. So yeah. Anyway, there you go. Last Samurai, number 2.
Dude, you're gonna love fucking Edge of Tomorrow, dude. And on a nice
I think
TV with
I'm gonna like
sound.
it.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
bro! You're gonna like that. You're gonna like it
Right.
more than Pacific Rim, dude. It's better. It's way better.
Oh, it's better than Pacific Rim by far.
It's way.
It's not. Sound engineering's not as good, but it's just a great movie to watch. It's like story plot.
Oh,
everything.
it's so fucking good, man.
My number 2's already been mentioned. Again, like I have doubts on my top 2 all the time. Like they fluctuate because like there's so many great movies. It's Dark Knight. For me, it's not just peak superhero movie. It's just peak movie. It's like one of the best all-time movie villains I've seen. The fact that it's Batman on top of it just adds even more to it. I guess like I think about it and I'm like, this movie is overrated, but I just loved it so much. For me, like I don't know, I don't want to dive into it too much just because we've already talked about it.
No, it's good.
But yeah.
It deserves to be up there.
Absolutely.
My number 2 is by far. I have 2 number 1s. I mean, my number 1, everybody's gonna know, but my number 2, my number 2 should be number 1, and my number 2 is the greatest movie ever constructed, ever made. And it's a masterpiece. There's nothing wrong with it at any point. It's a make you feel good movie, and that is Shawshank. Shawshank Redemption is, well, it is probably the greatest movie ever made. I'm just gonna throw it out there. No, it doesn't have crazy IMAX CGI shitfest. No, it doesn't have
cinema.
It's just perfect cinema. It is story. There's this character arc. There's development. There's a payoff. There's just
The
make
writing,
you feel good. The writing, the
accuracy.
acting, everything is just good. And who does not like a good jail movie? Who doesn't?
You know what I think of every time I hear Shawshank? For whatever reason, I also immediately think of The Green Mile.
Yeah.
Well, they're both
I don't know
really
why,
good. They're good,
but
they're good prison movies.
They just they're always in my mind at the same, they occupy the same space in my brain.
They're
I don't know why.
iconic prison movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there it is. Shawshank. If you guys didn't see Shawshank, then you're not even.
What's wrong with you?
You don't.
Why are
you're
you
not
here?
You're not even a movie. You don't know movies. And if you're super young, then okay, I'll let it slide.
Every single
Go watch
Thanksgiving, TNT. It's like they show it 4 times in a row. Can't miss it. Do they still show it on TNT? Actually,
Probably.
Yeah,
It was on TV. I can't remember what channel it was on, but it was on
Wasn't
TV
long
here
ago.
like not long
always
ago.
on
Yeah.
TNT.
So yeah, there it is. I'm not even going to get
For
into
sure.
it. It's just it's masterpiece. Number 2, Shawshank.
If you haven't watched it, go watch it. That's it.
Yep. Absolutely. Okay,
Big
number 1.
one, boys.
Oh my goodness, we've made it. Here we
We have a
are.
reasonable time.
I'm impressed. I'm very impressed with the time that we've managed to get here in. My number 1 is a movie that I could possibly watch once a day and never get tired of. I also think that as far as me choosing a movie here that is good, what people may consider to be good cinema, this would probably be the one on my list that would be considered good cinema. It has one of my favorite actors of all time in it. Actually, two. Some of, I guess.
Elmo?
Damon.
No, it doesn't actually have Matt Damon in it.
Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna say Goodwill Hunting.
Well, actually, no, it does have Matt Damon in it. What am I saying? Of course it does. Of course it does have Matt Damon in it. No, it is Good Will Hunting.
I was gonna say, what the fuck?
Yeah. No, it is Good Will Hunting. So, I thought I did not register Matt Damon when you said Matt Damon for some reason. So yeah, it is Good Will Hunting.
There's so many good movies I don't have on my list.
I have nothing. I am a jaded asshole. I have nothing negative that I can say about Good Will Hunting. Every part of that movie for me is spot on, and though the scene is made like almost joked about a bit on the internet with the "it's not your fault" thing, that whole scene's spectacular. There's the scene where Robin Williams is telling the story about his deceased wife that's entirely ad-libbed. And it's one of the most genuine fucking scenes in a movie I've ever seen. And you get a good, genuine laugh out of Matt Damon because it is complete bullshit just made up on the fly by Robin. And really, who else could have pulled that off but Robin Williams? And when it came to Robin Williams as well, I thought it was fantastic because though Robin's already shown by this point, I guess, that he is quite capable of doing stuff that isn't just pure comedy, I thought that he just nailed this role, and I have a sneaking suspicion it's because this character was awfully fucking close to mimicking real-life Robin Williams. And so we were getting Robin Williams in this movie, and it made me appreciate it a bit more after his passing because I look at it that way. But yeah, I thought it was an absolutely spectacular movie. It takes you all over the map. It makes you feel good. It makes you feel, sad. It tells numerous really fucking good stories with the characters. The development is all done well. Music's great. Everything's just fucking great. This is just a very good movie. It's my number one.
I'm with you. I'm literally with you. It's not on my top 10. I do own it on Blu-ray. I think it's a phenomenal movie. But I agree. I couldn't watch it every day. It's not one of those. It's same with Shawshank. I couldn't watch it every day. I'd watch it
maybe once a year, once every other year type of thing.
For me, it's like once every 3 to 5 years. I'll pop it in, and it's like I'm
just need a good watch, a good
yeah.
cry.
It's like man, this is really. But I'm with you on basically everything you said. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's good. It's the best movie on your fucking list.
See, I knew it.
Yeah.
I knew it.
All right. For me, this one, again, a lot of people are going to be like, oh yeah, not number one movie like ever for anyone. But for me, it's the first movie that my dad and I sat down and watched together. Like, he got it. I didn't get to watch it in theaters. I was too young. It came out before I was born, but my dad had gotten on VHS and we sat down and watched it. And, it stuck with me and I watch it all the time. We're going with Back to the Future.
Hey,
I love the entire trilogy.
That's going to be on people's top 10s. Absolutely,
no, top 10,
that'll be.
Top 10 definitely, but top movie of all time. Like I can see that being a little bit questionable for some people. So
yeah.
But I love the entire trilogy, but the first one and even the second one were for me, I just loved it because great campy sci-fi cinema. Stories was kind of developed well. Characters were there. Again, it's completely campy at the times, but this is what the future looks like. This is what the past all that. But for me, just the way the story kind of plays out, even though it's kind of predictable and everything, it's kind of perfect storytelling for me. You have your intro, you have your character development, you have that, you have your conflict, and you kind of just put it together. And it was just for me, I would say it's peak Zemeckis filmmaking.
Mm-hmm.
Story was well encapsulated. It's one of the series, not even just single movie, but trilogy that I hope they don't go back and remake. Let It Lie. It's great. It's a classic. Doesn't need to be redone. Doesn't need to be touched. And for me, it's just, I don't know. It's hard to describe for me. I just love the movie.
I like Back to the Future quite a bit. I think for me, Back to the Future might represent from the movies, from when I was watching movies, might represent the shift in movie making where pacing didn't suck balls. where like movies that came in the era previous to
It took its time to say what it needed
to
to
it.
do.
Yeah, like movies would just like it felt like every movie was a director cut where the director was just like giving himself a circle jerk over every scene. They just crammed everything into it. There'd be such useless shit and just drag movies on. And even though the movies were like shorter back then, they still somehow felt like they were 5 fucking hours long. It was like this weird paradox. Like you'd watch a movie and you're like, how long am I been fucking shit? We're 14 minutes into this movie. It fucking feels like an hour and a half. And then all of a sudden movies made this friggin' weird shift, whether it was, I don't know if it was just how they were shot or how the stories were told in terms of what the standard became, but my God, thank God it happened. Because it was bad previously. It's why a lot of movies I can't watch before a certain time. I'll make exceptions for stuff like The Godfather and things of that nature, but holy shit, some movies were bad before then for that reason. So I think for me that represents the pacing shift. But it was like you said, it was done really well. It was simple, but it was good simple.
Mm-hmm.
Like they did simple very well. It wasn't
Yeah, it wasn't overly
it wasn't
gritty.
bad
It wasn't
simple,
trying
I guess,
too
for
hard.
the
You
sake
just
of-
went for a good story. You went to have
Yeah.
a good time. It's just like kind of like a feel good movie.
Yeah.
No, I like it. All right, so I'm last, right?
Yep.
This is the show.
Jackass the movie.
No, my favorite movie of all time. Once again, greatest movie director living, Quentin Tarantino. Favorite movie, From Dusk Till Dawn. It is my favorite movie of all time. It is the reason why I have a tattoo up my arm. I just remember seeing George Clooney's character with a very similar tattoo. I wanted to get it a little bit different, but this is where it came from. It came from that movie. I remember watching it for the first time over at Trav's house, and and then I remember watching it with just every friend I own. I became obsessed. Like I didn't like the other ones that came out. There's like From Dusk Till Dawn 2, 3. There's some bad ones. But the George Clooney and Quentin Tarantino co-starring in his own movie. Although, sorry, I will back up. Quentin Tarantino, Robert Rodriguez is the one who directed the movie. Let me just double check so I'm not giving you guys false information. But Quentin Tarantino, I do believe, was the writer or co-writer, or sorry, Robert Rodriguez and Quentin Tarantino wrote the screenplay and co-starred in the movie. And I would imagine that Quentin Tarantino had quite the say behind the camera as well, and helped with that direction. It's just an amazing film.
Mm-hmm.
I just love it. I love the fact that it starts as like almost like a heist, like not a heist, but it's like a hostage situation. There's two bad characters. They take a family hostage, essentially. And then, Quentin Tarantino's character is all kinds of fucked up, and he's weird, and he's checking out the young girl, and he's seeing shit and hearing shit. And George Clooney is like the cool leader of the pack, badass dude. And then they end up going to a titty bar. I got brown titties, white titties, Asian titties, black titties.
The tonal
fat
shift
pussy,
that happens
Asian
in
pussy,
that
white
movie.
pussy, yellow pussy, brown pussy, thick pussy, wet pussy, hairy pussy, all kinds of stuff. And it just goes from a stripper to a vampire movie just like that. And you go, what I loved about it so much is you didn't see it coming. You had no fucking clue, at least for me, because I never watched like movie trailers. I never saw it in theaters. So I'm just watching this, and next thing you know, it's like a horror action movie, and it works. Like it's funny, but it's scary. The action sequences are great. You have characters that you're rooting for, and the main characters are bad characters. Like, they're bad people. And so they have what they have coming to them. It's just fucking great. It's great fucking fun. And I love it. I love it. I love it.
I want one honorable mention because we've all kind of mentioned, oh shit, there's that one movie, or this one's just outside of the list, or blah 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 blah. What's an honorable mention from each of you? I'll give you guys my honorable mention while you think about yours.
I already have mine.
So my honorable mention is Shutter Island. I've only seen it twice, and yet I consider it to be one of the best thrillers movies that I have ever watched, if not the best thriller that I've ever watched.
I actually haven't ever watched
everything.
Whoa!
Everything.
Really?
It's one of those movies where there's nothing in it that I can necessarily pick at. There's no real downside
It's good.
The reason I
to
never
Shutter Island.
The reason I never watched it was I saw the trailer for it coming out, and it seemed too much like a horror movie to me, which is probably why. Sometimes, like, I love thrillers, but
Damn.
I just I don't like horror movies. So like, it seemed like a horror movie.
It's
It's
not.
it's not
No,
really a
it
horror
it's
movie.
not
It's
horror.
more a
at
psychological
all.
It's a
thriller or something?
psychological
It is a-
thriller. Yeah.
Absolute
Then I will go
psychological
watch it.
thriller.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're gonna love it, dude. Martin Scorsese,
You're gonna like it a lot.
like Leonardo
Yeah.
DiCaprio. I mean,
Yeah, I love Scorsese movies, but I saw that I'm like, this seems like a horror movie. And I get
yeah,
all,
I've
like,
Yeah.
definitely seen it more than twice, so it's
Yeah.
it's good. Mark
And
Ruffalo's in
it's
it.
it's an ending that similar to
Well, don't spoil it.
Inception.
Don't spoil
Nah.
it.
But it's one of those things where
Yeah, yeah. It gives
it's
you
a-
something to
get,
think.
You
of.
get to think. It gives you something to think about.
Yeah.
It gives you something to think about.
Yeah. No, it's good. It's a really good movie.
Yeah. So that's my honorable mention.
All right, what
all
about
right,
you, Panic?
I mean, I said it earlier. It's either going to be Shawshank or Hateful Eight. I'm leaning towards Hateful Eight just because as much as I love
So
Shawshank.
good. Yeah.
I saw that. I saw Hateful Eight in the whole presentation thing that he had with like the whole movie theater set up with it was like the 75mm or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Saw the whole shebang, and it was just peak cinema for me.
Yeah, and you know what? Hateful Eight is one of those movies where a lot of average moviegoers are not going to like that movie. It is super stylistic.
That's
and
why
it is,
I love style movies.
It is Quentin Tarantino just throwing his Quentin dick all over the screen. And it's either you're going to eat it up.
Every character was amazing.
It's a dialogue movie. It's like it's the interactions
set,
between the characters. It's fucking phenomenal. It is absolutely phenomenal. And there is action in it, but it's all about characters. It's all about how they interact with each other, and it's just amazing. It's just fucking good. It's just good. Very, very good.
Can
That's
you
a great
imagine
choice.
the table reads for that movie? Like
No.
with no sets, no acting, just them sitting and doing the table read. Like,
It's nutty, dude. And once again, Samuel L. Jackson shows up and just fucking crushes shit again. Like, god
everyone
damn,
crushes
dude.
it in that movie. Kurt Russell is probably my
Kurt
favorite
Russell's
one.
so good in that movie
He
too.
is my favorite in that movie.
If you guys haven't seen Hateful Eight and you just want to go down and you want to burn like 3 hours of your life and you want it to be
good
an
way.
amazing
good way.
experience, you just do it. Oh, it's
I
such a
have the book somewhere
claustrophobic
there for
movie
you.
too. It's just in your face, nowhere's to go.
Which
it's
is
just
funny because that way that camera works is it makes things like wide open. So like Tarantino was like playing with he was probably like a pig in shit for that movie with like the cameras and stuff they restored.
Dude, somebody would be sitting there talking in a chair, telling a story. Like, for example, in which I'm going to go ahead and this will be my honorable mention, Inglourious Bastards, which is
Buongiorno.
a fucking amazing movie. And Christoph Waltz is his scene that he has with the guy and his family are hiding in the house, and he's asking dude like, you know, is there anybody else here? And just
That's a good movie.
it's such a menacing scene. but-
Arrivederci.
But what but what in Hateful Eight, it's like that Christoph Waltz scene in just about every scene in the entire movie. And what I loved about Hateful Eight is somebody be sitting in a chair just telling a story, and you're so fucking dialed in. But you'd see the cameras are so wide angled, and it'd be focused on one guy, but you'll see other characters in the background just doing shit, like just fucking doing random shit. They're
doing their
sitting
stuff
there,
that you'd expect them to be doing.
That a character would do. Like some characters are just fidgety. Some of them just
one guy's cleaning a gun.
One guy's cleaning his gun. Another person's like picking at their teeth or eating or you know, doing something, and everybody is fucking dialed in, and there's so much more to the movie than just what's happening.
You know,
there's just
Tarantino went up to them. He's like, "Yo, all right, look, this is the kind of character you are. I want you to be maybe doing something they kind of like, you know, I don't know, maybe like picking your teeth or something, and then the actors will just run with it. But he'll be going like, no, you got to be like, you know, do maybe a little bit more fidgety.
Everything
very,
in
like
screen
meticulous attention to detail.
Yeah, there's so much more to what meets the eye. So I've seen it twice, and the first time I saw it in theater,
cinematography,
loved it.
too.
Second time, I was eating it all up. So yeah, that's a good choice. I'd even put it as my honorable mention, but I have to put in Glorious Bastards because it's just amazing. It is dumb, Nazi killing fun, and it's stupid, but at the same time, it's just a great film. I
just watch it for Brad Pitt's character.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Just that one fucking scene where he's trying to pass as you know, whatever, and he just Arrivederci comes out. I fucking died. I literally couldn't breathe for about 5 minutes. I thought it was the funniest thing I'd ever seen in my life, and it was so
subtle,
was so
dude.
simple.
Yeah, dude.
It's so subtle. Like there's no lead up to it. You just see him there, and he's just fucking. You know, you can imagine his character in his mind is like, I got this shit. Yeah. I fucking got this shit. He's so committed, and he just fucking gives it 100% effort. Arrivederci, and you're like, it's so damn good.
He was probably
oh my
something,
god. So yeah, no, that's a good choice. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be it for side A. That is our top 10 plus honorable mention favorite movies. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. We are going to take a short break before side B, where we're going to do our usual technical or tech support, I should say, answer some questions from the Patreons, and then we're going to wrap it up for another week. So for those of you here on the live stream, sit tight. We'll be just a couple of minutes. For those of you listening at home, whether you're on YouTube or if you are on iTunes, etc., then if it's already available, go listen to it right now. Right. And if it's not, then go pass the time. Go get like a hoop and a stick, and just pass the time as best you can until side B arrives. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back in a few minutes or in a few days. Sit tight. Hey guys, if you're enjoying Technical Alpha and are interested in supporting us, do I have a solution for you? We've set up this Patreon page to help us help you, help us and you. We've got a list of options that would make a used car salesman cry that provide you with a range of goodies for your support. Head on over to patreon.com/technicalalpha to see what's up for grabs. Like fancy badges and stuff? Subscribe to us on Twitch to get access to, well, badges and stuff. Not big on subscriptions. We have a button below that allows you to directly throw money at our faces. Careful you don't take those eyes out though. We are so very fond of our eyes. Honestly though, while we like to joke about the sellout, just being a regular listener is a huge help, and we're incredibly thankful for all of your support. Technical Alpha will continue soon, so sit tight.